This is a bit more complex, so please bear with me on this, but this will work after a restart. And what we're doing here, instead of simply changing the country code that Linux thinks we're using, what the regular database will assign us to, we're actually going to change the value of our country code in the regulatory database itself. There's a number of ways of doing this, and all the different ways I've seen on the internet, they're actually quite complex, so I'm going to show you a method that's a lot easier to do the same thing. Okay, so bear with me. First thing you want to do, again, if you skip to this part and skip the first method I've shown, knowing that wouldn't work for you, you want to type iw-regget again. That's our network commands, regulatory database, get. This time I'm going to be working on WLAN 1. This is actually my WLAN 1 adapter, and that's my alpha one I've just mentioned, the NHA. Okay, you could do this on either, but okay. So you need to make, you need to make a note of these country codes. In fact, it's probably a good idea to actually copy them down. GB, and it's probably best to copy the comma as well for the method I'm about to show you. So GB comma, and also DE comma if I wanted to change both. So what we're going to be doing is actually changing the value in the regulatory database to reflect 30 decibels. So it thinks that the country DE and GB allows 30 instead of 20. Again, this is obviously illegal and is only for research purposes on your own access point and wireless network equipment. I cannot condone any illegal use, obviously, on other people's access points that you don't own. Okay, so how we do that? We first need to, this is quite a long command, so bear with me. You need to download a new regulatory database that we need to change. So git, this is one that's already been extracted for us, so please use this address to do it. That's git clone, so clone from a git repository, git ://. Note that's not HTTPS this time, because it's not a regular code we're going for. We're actually going for a kernel. The regular database is classed as a kernel, so we actually use git here, so please note that. So that's git ://git.kernel.org /pub/scm /linux /kernel /git /s4she, that's S4she, SHEE / wireless tac regdb, reg database, tac .git. Okay, that's the full command. Git clone git :// git.kernel.org /pub /scm /linux /kernel /git /s for she /wireless tac regdb.git. I will be putting this git line or git address in the comments in case you want to copy and paste it. And then if you put a space and any other word after any git clone line, it'll actually clone it into that folder, whatever name you put. So if I put GH, it'll clone this into a folder called GH rather than a folder called wireless regdb. Okay, so let's call it wireless DB. You can call it anything you want. So WRDB I'm going to call it, just for easier use in getting into the folder rather than actually having to type wireless reg DB. I can just type WRDB. Okay. Sorry, it does help if I put my wireless adapter up first so I can download. You won't have this problem because if you followed my first one you would have actually put it back up, whereas I didn't. I'm resetting it. Okay, try that command again. I presume you do know if you press up it will go through the last commands you typed, but you shouldn't have had that problem because your adapter would have been up obviously. Okay, now let that clone. Okay, that's done. Now let's CD into the folder we made. Remember I changed the name to WRDB. So CD WRDB, or whatever you called it if you didn't use that. Okay. Now if we just have a quick look in the folder with LS, which is list folder contents, you see a lot of files. This is actually the regulatory database and the actual key file needed, because what actually happens, instead of just being a regular database with all the different country codes in and the transmit values they allow, it actually assigns a key based on your username to the regular database to know that can only be used for you. So we'll be changing the key and everything to make this work, and all this does this for us. Okay. So what we want to do is change this here, db.text, which is the extracted database itself. So if we open that in gedit db.txt, let's bring that into view. Okay, now we have to remember our country codes. Mine was DE and GB. So if you press this one here, the options button, looks like 3 lines, like slatted blinds, and then find, and then type in your country code with the colon, so GB in our case. Now what you want to do, you simply want to change the value here at the end to 30. Simple as that. You can, for purism point of view or neatness, change all the values. We'll change them all to 30. Change this one to 40. Just so it goes on a nice sliding scale. You don't really have to do this because it'll actually only be using the 2.4 GHz range. Okay. Now also, my other adapter was on DE if I remember correctly. So let's search for DE colon up the top here. Now you can see it's actually written in milliwatts. I might have been wrong when I said earlier that 20 is 500 milliwatts. It could well just be 100 milliwatts. But there you go. Whatever values anyway, you want to stick with decibels, because I know the values there that work. So on this, we actually want to change it. If yours is in milliwatts as well, just comment that out and just put 30. That'll use decibels then. I suppose you could put 1000 milliwatts if you wanted. That would work as well. But if yours is written as just a number without the milliwatts, just write it as 30 or 27 if that's the value you want to change to. As I said, you don't really need to change them all, just the 2.4 GHz range. I've just got a bit of OCD, so I can't help myself. Okay. Right. As I said, this is only the only one it'll use on the 2.4 GHz range, so it's only really one you need to change. Okay, now we've changed our 2 country codes. Or if you've only got one Wi-Fi adapter, you'll obviously only have one country code. If it says global 00, then obviously you'll look for global 00 instead of a country code. Some adapters do that. Instead of assigning a country code, they'll assign a global value. Whatever yours said when you did IWRegGet, that's what you want to change. Okay. Now that's done, we save our db.txt. That's saved. We put our new values of 13. We can close it. Okay. Now the next thing we need to do is type make. This will actually compile all that values into the proper database format that it needs. Okay, now that's all done, and it signed it for us. Now, just in case we do have problems and our adapter is hard coded into the firmware itself, and if that's the case it could cause problems, it might not, but it could, we'll actually back up our old regulatory database just in case. So to do that, we type mv for move /lib /crda /regulatory.bin. Okay, move /lib /crda /regulatory.bin, and we want to move that to, so it's move from to, we want to move that to /lib /crda, the same folder, except for we'll change the name. So we're not actually moving it, we're simply renaming it. But on Linux you don't rename something via the command line, you actually move the file into a new name. That's how you rename something on the Linux command line. You move it into a new name. So let's call it regulatory.back. So we've got a backup. Okay, so to rename it, we simply move it from one location to a new one. In this case, it's actually the same folder, just a different name. So it's now called regulatory.back. Okay, that's backed up our old regulatory database. Okay, now you've done that, you now need to copy the one we've just created. So that's cp for copy, our regulatory.bin. That's a compiled version after we did make, to the correct folder, which is /lib /crda /regulatory.bin. Okay, so copy it there. Okay, now we've made a backup of our old regulatory bin and we've copied the new one to the correct folder, we now need to copy the required public key like I discussed a bit ago. The database file is signed with a specially generated key for the username or the user. We now need to copy that key file over as well. So follow this. cp for copy, $, and in uppercase user, that's basically saying copy and use whatever our username is. .key, .pub for public, .pem. Pem is the file extension used for keys. And we want to copy that to /lib /crda /pub keys for public keys. Okay, so that's copy $user in uppercase, which is our username, .key .pub .pem to /lib /crda /pub keys. Okay, now we've copied our generated key file. Now you will need to restart your PC for it to take effect. So once you've restarted your PC, simply type, I'm obviously not going to restart my PC and record it for you and show you, but after you've restarted, simply type IW regget and check your country codes have the new values. They're not going to show yet on my system because obviously I haven't restarted, but after I've restarted they will have changed, and this does work with my adapter, the Alpha AWUS036NHA, and quite a lot of the Alpha adapters this does work, because all we're doing is changing the value in the regulatory database so that the firmware that our Wi-Fi adapter was written, where it was written, the country it was written and is hard coded for, that maximum value has been changed. Okay, now it can use up to that value. It doesn't mean your Wi-Fi adapter still will. You still need to do these steps after you've restarted. Once you've checked they've took in the regulatory database, however. So imagine I've restarted now and I've just checked and I've successfully noticed the new values are now 30. Obviously the country codes won't have changed, but the new values will be 30. So imagine I've restarted and I've checked that and it's all fine. We now want to put our adapter down. This is the same step as in method 1. We're now actually making it so our network adapter will use the maximum values that it can for this country code, now that it's allowed to. Instead of the IF config and our adapter name down, I'll show you another way to put the network adapter down, just so you know different ways of doing it if need be, although they do exactly the same thing. You could type IP link set WLAN1 in my case, or whichever adapter you're using, down. As I said, that's the same as typing ifconfig WLAN1 down. So it's IP link set WLAN1 in my case, whatever your network adapter you've changed, down. If you change 2, obviously you put them both down at this stage. So you do that and then you put the next adapter. Say I've done WLAN 0 and WLAN 1, which I effectively have, but I haven't restarted, so it's kind of pointless to go all through it. But at that stage, if I did do 2 network adapters and 2 country codes, which I did, I may as well actually. I would then put IP link set and I'd put my other one down as well. If you've only done one, obviously you'll only put one network adapter down at this stage. Okay, so now they're down. Now we're going to use the same command as we used previously to change the transmit value, the maximum fixed value that it's going to use. So that's IW dev for device. Our network adapter will start with WLAN 1 is the one I'm interested in changing, although I would do both obviously. Set our transmit power to a fixed value of our maximum 30D, M capital B M. I always say D there and it should be M because it's decibel, so I'll think of it like that. So that's IW, dev for device, your device name, WLAN1 in my case, set, space TXPower, your transmit power, set to a fixed value of 30 M capital BM. That'll, okay, now that's done. I could also, well I should also, if I did 2 adapters like I did, if you've only done 1 you won't need to do this obviously, just change my other adapter. It's exactly the same command as just. Just go over it again. So that's IW, our network command, device WLAN 0, or whatever your network adapters are, set TXPower to a fixed value of 30 M capital B M. Okay. Now obviously you want to put your adapters back up. Now you've changed the values to use those new transmit power values of 30 decibels. So that would be, you could obviously, like I said, use ifconfig, your device name and up. That's IP link. I can hear my dog barking, I think somebody's here, so bear with me. IP link set your device name up. Exactly the same command as previously when we took it down, but we're putting it back up. So IP link set our device name up. I'll do that for both my adapters. And that's it. You're done. Now you'll find your new adapter now, well not new adapter, the same adapter, but with new transmit powers, yeah, powers I suppose, will, I'm confused myself then. It's alright, my dog barking, someone's at the door, so I'm just trying to ignore it while I finish the video. But yeah, your adapter should work now, so you should have new transmit values, and it should transmit at a more powerful signal strength and give you more powerful injection levels. Okay, as I said, if none of these 2 methods work for you, then unfortunately the only way you can change the transmit power on your adapter is by actually reverse engineering the firmware, and that is well beyond the scope of these videos. So hopefully one of these methods did work for you, preferably the first method, as it's a lot easier. Although you do have to do the first method each time you restart the system, whereas this method will be permanent once you've done it once and restarted once. Okay, thank you. Please like, share or subscribe. Thank you.